What's up guys, Slash here. Today I'll be collabing with none other than Demian from The Lookout for a set 22 prediction tier list. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. So, here we are. We have the tier list and I'm joined by none other than Demian from The Lookout. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Slash, for inviting me.
If you want to find anything of Demian, you can find in the link down below. He has the most amazing content. If you're new to Dragon Ball, if you're an existing player, you're looking for meta breakdowns, you want profiles in general, do you want to find hot takes, you can find it all on his channel. It's amazing content. I highly recommend it. Check it out.
Thank you so much. You're being way too kind. You're being way, but like, yeah, guys, link is in the description or somewhere.
Yeah, the link is in the description down below. No, but you do amazing job for the community. It's not just your the content that you're putting out itself. It's the interaction you're bringing to the community, from the Xenoverse tournaments to even the hot takes. Like, you're doing a bit of everything, and it's amazing to see, honestly.
Thank you so much.
Let's not humble brag too much. Let's jump into the tier list.
Let's just jump. Let's give the people what they came for. So
exactly. So we're starting with Beast Gohan. Now, I'd love to know your opinion of Beast Gohan.
So, I think that Beast Gohan, I'm just gonna say this very briefly, just to paint an image of how disappointed I am. Remember in BT19, we got the trailer first. Those were the days. We got the trailer. Yeah. And then we saw Gogeta and Broly from the movie. And they were both in green. And I made a statement on the Discord and Facebook being like, hey, it's Gogeta and Broly. No way that both of them can be bad. Well, I said the same for Gohan. And I'm disappointed with Beast Gohan. I think the blue one is still much better than this one, but I see some potential here. I see potential. But before I talk about this, what do you think of Beast Gohan?
So I actually earlier today, I did some little tweaking and made my own list, and I think I've come up with something that might be pretty good. It might be anti-Frieza. It might be actually a pretty decent list. It's a red-blue version.
Yeah, actually that's exactly what I wanted to say. Beast Gohan works phenomenally in red blue. If you make he can be unkillable if you just make red blue. It's insane.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think that the problem with the Beast Gohan is, first of all, there are some cool things. You've got your 15k beat sticks that you pump out and then you can restand them, the Piccolos. You've got the 8-drop Gohan it's okay. It's not great, really. It requires a Saiyan leader, so that's nice. So it's very versatile for a lot of red decks in general. But it's just not, it's kind of lackluster in general. You play it, you minus 30k, you have to have 4 or more energy, and of course, then you can get that whole ability where you, if your opponent uses a counter, you can like minus 5k one of their cards. That's pretty shit. My list, I have 1 just because I want to try it out, but I'm actually running 3 of those 8 costs in Shinrons just because you have a Z leader, so it's a lot better in general. But I would have to say, based on Red's counters in general right now, it's not that good. I feel like they really should probably Unirado Violent Rays maybe, or make a new one that's just like an in-between, because that is the thing that I feels like it falls behind. I just hope that this can somehow impact green in a way, because green is very dominant right now. I think personally it would go good locals, but probably not competitive yet.
I think that like red blue, if we're just talking red, he's just meh. He's awful in just red, I think. But if we're looking red blue, well, you have the blue Gohan Floodgate, which is phenomenal. You have Whis to give yourself plus 10k on each attack. You have Shenron Boss Monster is insane. Yeah, it's crazy. So I think that even with all of these tools, it's still lacking a bit. So I agree. I think that good / locals is so far the highest that this deck is going. Yeah.
But I mean, in general, the power output from red, because this is practically a lot of info as well when it comes to Hedo when we get there. But you have a lot of these like defeating demons. You've got the Broly critical overlord overall. Yeah, the overlord thingy servant. So there is some good damage in there, but in general, it's just not that good. So okay, we'll put if we're counting it as the red blue, then we'll put it into good locals. I personally think the deck is actually going to be pretty good. I'm actually going to be building quite a few decks, even though I'm leaving the country in like 3 weeks or something, 4 weeks. I'm actually going to be building Hedo, Gohan, the Green Broly. I'm also going for Gogeta and Fu. So that's a lot of
Yeah,
decks.
it's dedication, man.
It
But
is.
yeah, good slash locals. It's okay. I mean, it's a red blue. It's okay for this. We will see how it ends up.
Yeah.
My biggest doubt is that it's a deck which wants to play slower, grindier matchup, and red isn't really a color that excels in this. It's
Too
blue
true.
and yellow that excel in this. But we will see. Let's go over Janemba.
Yeah. So your favorite one,
Um,
obviously, without a doubt, we're putting this into meta.
Yes,
Without a doubt, it goes to meta.
it is the best. It is the best deck in the game. It's
It is. It has
defining.
free plays.
Yeah,
Not only are the cards not 20k, but it has really no energy restanding. It's very slow. It just has nothing. There's no milling. So
yeah,
that's why it has to go into meta, right?
yeah, yeah. And this is so I don't know, man. I don't know what they were thinking with this one.
Okay,
Um,
let's ask some actual things then.
yeah,
So, what do you think this deck can do for blue in general? Not just for the meta, but what can it provide to blue in general?
absolutely nothing. I
Okay.
think this deck doesn't provide the only thing.
Next question.
The only
What does the deck bring to the meta?
nothing, man. Like the only thing that it brings is if you build it in a very specific way, then the Janemba Xeno Z leader from Anniversary Box is semi-playable. That's the only thing that it does.
Yeah.
Everything else is all of your attackers are 19Ks. So if your opponent Z awakens into a 20K Z leader, which most of them are, right now you're
Hmm.
just kinda dead. You don't do anything anymore unless you start dumping your hand. Like,
The cards have no protection.
yeah, some of them, the way that they work is so baffling. Like these 2 out of 3, those Z extra cards, one that gives buff and one that restands,
Yep.
they do nothing on your opponent's turn. But like then there's like, oh, you can play Janemba on your opponent's turn, but then the only one that actually does something is the one with blocker. But if you play it on the opponent's turn, it loses its auto. And it's like,
Yeah.
what is this? It's so
Yeah,
bad.
it's useless. I mean,
Yeah.
what they could have done is made a promo that's like a Z battle that is just like we have with the foos and stuff like that, the one cost deflect barriers. If they made something like that and made it so it said all Janembas that are 19Ks get like plus 4K or something as a permanent, that would have been a little bit better. But in general, the deck just is very lackluster. It should have had some sort of mill
Yeah, it
or
should have been.
condition.
Should have had something.
Yeah.
So,
So with that being said, it's your you get to put that one wherever you want for that. Honestly,
oh man. Do you want me to put it realistically, or do you want to people to just like skim through the tier list and be like, what the fuck did I just miss?
that second.
Yeah, okay, it's in meta.
Let them mill it.
Yeah,
Let them mill the video too.
Janemba is in meta. So, there you go, guys. First S tier deck. Should be banned. Let's go over Fu now. So, what do you think? There are a lot of talks that like this is the new Dark Broly, basically.
Yeah. So I've had some conversations with a friend of mine, Jeffrey. He's very dedicated when it comes to playing black decks in particular. And he was explaining to me as well that the whole putting the card into your Z deck, it's very gimmicky in general, but the deck has a lot of pros to it. Like there are a lot of strengths. Everything is cheap to play. They're all like one costs and things like that. There's some barrier removal. The cards aren't too low in battle power itself. So I do see some potential for this. And right now, when it comes to the overall strength of black, I feel like it's in a pretty good spot. Though the defense is a little lackluster, especially when it comes to end game. You don't really have that much that can just cut off your opponent. Of course, you can use like the whole Oceanus thingy, so you're like your opponent has to mill the top four, but that's not really that important. You know, that's not that good compared to like a Topo kind of thing these days.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna comment much. It's still the one that I need to dig through and everything, but superficially from what I have seen, and I've also spoken with Jeffrey about this. Because yeah, I know Jeff from Discord, and he's super dedicated to
Yeah,
black decks. I believe that from everything that I've seen, that this one will be competitive. Like it will
yeah.
definitely be better than good slash locals.
I feel like, see, here's the thing. When you look at the previous sets, I've had this thing where I feel like a lot of these decks have had some sort of Achilles heel to them. So if you look at Android 21, it had those things where you couldn't use extra cards. I know, obviously, that's a thing to balance the deck out, but every deck still had some sort of Achilles heel. And Cumber, this deck feels a lot like Cumber in some way. Not that it's playing battle cards on your opponent's field, but that it has its own little twist to it, right? And because of that, that's where I feel like that whole thing becomes a bit of a problem again. But I still think it's going to be a very strong deck. Just because when you look at the whole God Trunks, right? That deck is overwhelmingly good right now. And it's because it doesn't have that much Achilles heels to it. I mean, you're milling your own deck technically into your warp, but you're benefiting from that from getting those cards from your warp and using them. So it's the Achilles heel to it is not that bad. But here and Cumber, they do have a bit of a weakness to that. So I still think the deck is going to be very good, and that's why I'm going to build it because I think it looks really good. But I would have to say, I think the deck, yeah, I agree with you. I think it goes to competitive.
Yeah, I mean, like we need to ask ourselves, like, hey, is this better than Trunks? Because that's basically what it boils down to. And usually, I'm gonna say what I say most of the time. There is a critique that this is like a fair Dark Broly now. You know, just like Garlic is fair Sin and stuff.
Yep.
But fair isn't meta in card games. If decks do something and you're like, hey, this is fair, that it's usually the decks which are the strongest ones are the ones which break the rules in some way.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
this,
just kind of like what Gohan has been doing at the moment. It just,
yeah,
for a green deck, it has a lot of answers to everything.
yeah, and it has its own little. Definitely always awaken, like turn freeze, he awaken, do combo for free. It's cheating, in a, not cheating as in you're breaking the rules, but like the deck itself is cheating the mechanics.
Skipping its
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
But like
It
I
skips
think,
its way to first place. But
yeah,
actually, that's where I have to say that's where I feel like the Beast Gohan deck actually kind of does that too, because of the awakening condition. Because when you just block with your Piccolo, you now get to Z awaken, and on top of that, now you're a 20k leader already. So you could do that what turn 3?
yeah,
So that's still pretty damn good.
yeah. But you also need to be able to follow it up with even
Yeah,
more.
that's true.
So what you said, full? We're putting full into competitive then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay.
reckon.
Yeah, let's put it into competitive. Then we have GoBros.
GoBros, yes. So I've done a lot of searching on this in general. I was going to build it for my partner as well. The whole archetype feels a little bit kind of like the beginning of Gogeta BR or the Broly BR when that came out. It's very specific once again when it comes to green, but there is a benefit that it is a Saiyan leader, which means you can use the uneasy awakening rage, those counters. So that is a positive, I guess.
I think that I'm on the side that I think that this deck is even better than Gohan. I think that this deck is just flat out insane.
Okay.
Yeah.
But why do you think so? I'd love to hear your analysis on why.
So, you, we're assuming. I mean, we're assuming we know that you're playing Healing Pod because Healing Pod didn't get touched.
Yep.
So you're playing Healing Pod, and just for your normal turn cycle, you draw like 8 cards a turn. Just through playing your small guys, through drawing, through Healing Pod, your cards draw when you play them, and so you grab like 8 cards, usually about 8. It's maybe 7 if you play the other 6 drop, the one that isn't an SR, because only the SR actually draws a card when you play it.
Yeah.
And there has been a lot of comparisons between this and Trunks Gita, for example. Like, it's semi-similar in what they do, but
Yeah.
I think that the actual comparison, and it sounds crazy until I explain it, is you should compare this one with SS4 Gogeta. It doesn't have protection, just as Gogeta. Nothing in the deck had protection except the boss monster. But what you're doing to win games is that you basically bully your opponent with a massive hand size, like huge hand size, and then you play all of your things mid battle, which is how Gohan plays them as activate battle. He just puts
Yeah.
none of them have protection. None of them had protection in Gogeta either. And then you just apply pressure and you use your massive hand to defend yourself. Because it's a Green Saiyan, you can use the Awakening Rage SR. But because you also bring your 1-drops back from the drop with your leader, you're basically next 0, because you can just play it for free, discard your 1-drop, next turn activate main, bring it back, draw a card. So
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think the Vegeta Trunks aspect to it is very much there. I just feel like in general the whole combination of attacking and then switching into the stronger battle card mid battle, it just feels a little bit gimmicky. I feel like, yeah, it just, I don't know. I think I have to see it to believe it, but from what you've explained as well, I think the draw potential does give it a huge buff. I'm just not sure if the card strength in general will be worth it because it's quite archetype heavy in general, just like Vegeta Trunks was itself.
mhm.
So you may be drawing a lot of cards, but how useful are those cards to you?
Well, you have like if
Because it looked energy heavy, right? Where you're playing your 1-drop, right? Then you evolve on your 1-drop, so that's 1 energy for green. And then in the mid battle, you pay another energy to go onto your activate battle, right?
no, you use your leader's ability.
Oh, it has the effect. It makes
Yeah.
it free, right?
So basically, you do the whole chain for a single energy.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Okay. That makes better sense because
Mhm.
I kept thinking in my head that it was played more aggressive, so that you would have to. Yeah, you get that initially, but then you'll have to do another one for the second one you have.
Yeah, but it's also like protection wise, all of them have protection in the form of deflect, except the 6 drops. The 6 drops don't have. Only the ESR has deflect. The other two don't have it.
Yeah.
But there's 6 drops. There's not a lot of things that's hitting a 6 drop like counterplay. And he's already
Sure.
mid battle. So just like, I don't know, yellow plate in rest mode and stuff, he's already attacked. So it's okay. But yeah, protection wise, it doesn't have barrier. So what you play is dead next turn. Everything is just dead.
Yeah.
So
True.
you
Okay.
better make it
With
work.
that being said, then I
Mhm.
think that would probably go into the top of good locals. Then.
You think it's gonna go on top of good locals then? I think it's gonna be competitive, but it is your tier list. Let's put it
Mm,
in locals on the top. So it's
well, so yeah, I would put it in front at the
Mhm.
top of good locals. Obviously, towards the end of the list, we can do a quick little rundown and
Mhm.
change anything that we need to last minute. Like maybe put Janemba even a tier higher and make a new tier. So we don't know. We'll see at the end.
the Janemba tier. Like you
Exactly.
you
It has
make
its
like
own tier.
of a token tier, and then down there there's like Hell, and there is like Janemba, you know.
So
Yeah.
so next we have Kid Ku. Now, Kid Ku looks very interesting with the whole skillless package itself. I do see a lot of strengths to it. The deck itself looks pretty cool. I do think it's very heavy on what you're trying to play. Obviously, you can cut a lot of like stuff down in the deck to fit in what you want, but the deck looks decent. I'm not sure if it's going to be competitive. I doubt it very much, just because like Majin Vegeta itself is a Vegeta or a Goku leader, which means you can use a lot of stuff. This is a Kid Goku specifically, so you can't use a lot of those like Ultimate Duo Vegeta Goku cards. You can't use the Majin Vegeta servants, things like that. So it loses that extra yellow oomph of damage.
Well, I am not a fan of skillless decks. I'm just not. When I see that something uses skillless, I'm like, I'm not touching this. I'm not bothering. But when it comes to this one specific, I don't know. I think that it's good. I think that it is good. I have heard feedback that like it's amazing. I don't see it. Unfortunately, I just don't. Um, the thing is, I'm not too keen on skillless attackers, no matter how big they are. Especially when this leader basically denies you to give them any sorts of skills in any way. So they're just
Yeah.
vanillas. Even today, if someone attacks you with like a 30k vanilla, you're just gonna take the damage. It's like it's a single point of damage. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You're completely right with that, because like when it comes to skillless as well, I built for my partner the. Do you remember the yellow Piccolo leader where it was like a yellow green thing, and then everyone got really angry because once again they ruined Piccolo?
Ultimate Squad one, the one with Union Absorb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So they had that, and then it also had you could play like Purina and the other guy, and they were like the skillless package within it. Nobody run that package. Like no one wanted to run it because it was just useless.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how well it will do here. It does look like you pump them out pretty well, and for it low energy, but I don't know. I think this is something that's going to be like good locals. I'd probably put it towards the back of good locals. I honestly do believe that Beast Gohan is going to be better than this Kid Ku deck, but
Well,
people can prove me wrong, and I
yeah.
always love that because
Uh,
that means more content.
there's just one thing about this deck that helps it stand out more than anything else. He blanks things when he plays a skillless card. That's strong.
Very true.
That's super strong. So like you can blank stuff, and I think I would even put it higher, because the more I'm thinking is robotic riposte. You have it online all the time because you're playing your Dragon Balls, which are skillless zero cost cards, and you blank things. You can play Grandpa Gohan in him because he is a non-Great Ape Son Goku childhood leader. I don't think that Grandpa even cares if it's Great Ape or not, but it doesn't matter. Like the only off-putting thing to me is that all of your attackers are just like vanilla guys. And
Yeah, but that's where I feel like there's a weakness there down to if you're versing green right now in the meta, where green has a lot of barrier, it has a lot of hand destruction. They play slow as well, so you're getting hit with like dormants and things like that. So you're kind of missing out on being able to attack multiple times. And since you're hitting very vanilla, so it's a lot of just skillless 30k beat sticks and things like that, it's going to be a very slow game.
yeah. So you say good locals then? Okay.
Yeah, I would say good locals. I would say
Okay.
for now just behind Gohan, but maybe we change that.
All right. All right. Yeah. Now. Oh, now.
I'm excited for this one. This
Oh.
one just because I'm so gutted that they didn't like errata first Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. That they went straight to banning. So this is like the next best thing for me. because I absolutely love Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. So this Dr. Hedo, I think, is going to be amazing. I think this deck looks really good. Surprisingly, a lot of people aren't really noticing it that much, but there are some crazy cards that are coming out, like these SRs, that are just good in anything. Like you can put them into any kind of deck and they will do something. I really like that. So, just like you showed on the video as well about the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, that is going to be so good for Soul Striker. It's going to be good for Vegeta Ramp. It's going to be good for everything. In this Dr. Hedo deck, you have, I believe, a 5 cost, Gamma 1, Gamma 2. Now, it's a
Oh
very
yeah,
basic card. It's activate battle, you pay 1. If your lead is red, you and or your opponent have 3 or more energy. You draw 1, play this card, choose one of your red cards, it gets 10k for the battle. So for 1 energy, you're drawing 1, you throw down a 15k beat stick, and you plus 10 another battle card on your field. That's pretty good.
yeah.
Like, that's very underestimated.
But he also buffs himself by 5k or something else with his first auto.
Yeah, so obviously, when it comes to the rest of that, but what I'm saying in general is this card itself, you could actually put this into other red decks, not just Gamma 1 and the Dr. Hedo itself. Because of that activate battle, that is generically good. So pay 1, plus 1, now you got a 15k beat stick, you plus 10. So this is more for people that couldn't afford to buy the defeating demons, the Broly, and all those other expensive cards, the hyperspeed rush, things like that. This could be a very handy, cheap option for things like that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I think that SR is phenomenal. I
Yeah.
think the clause that when they should do this more often, the clause that if you or your opponent have an X amount of energy, which just kind of kills who went first, it helps so much in that situation. I think
Yeah.
we should start seeing more of that. But yeah, it's generic, it's absolutely phenomenal, and not to say that even in this deck it's even better. In
Oh
this
yeah.
deck it's wow. My opinion on Dr. Hedo is I think that this is the deck that's gonna bring red back. I think that this deck is you have free plays, you have a free way to give things dual attack, basically.
You have barrier on your turn.
Barrier on your turn, you have plus 5k on your turn. Like, this guy is insane. Like, okay, yeah, if you run into a robotic repose, you're gonna have a bad time. But,
Yeah.
like, and then what?
But
Then you're just gonna clap him the next turn, so.
yeah, and in a way, there is a way to like shut off your Dr. Hedo from drawing because I believe you have to attack with your Gamma in order to draw in the first place.
Yep.
So there is a way to cut off that deck a bit. But the amount of Gammas you can play in general, it won't be a problem.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
I think this deck's going to be really good. I would put this into competitive for sure.
Yeah,
I think this goes to the top of competitive.
I also think, like, this is top competitive, like, definitely. Yeah,
Especially when it comes to red. So it's very hard to say for red, hey, this is actually going to be a competitive deck. So that's why I think this deserves to go to the top.
Yeah, okay. Placed it on the top.
Nice.
Nice. Now. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Grandpa.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
do you like gambling? Are you a gambling man?
No, it's I love this deck. I love this deck. This is my type of deck, man. Like, this is the one that I'm building is this one. I think that this one is just amazing. Amazing. It has well, it's one of those, it looks, when you see it, when you read it the first time, you're like, well, this is a meme, like, this is haha funny red Son Goten leader. I am never gonna do this, actually. But the more you look at it, like, it does generic yellow things, which is okay. Its whole chain of monsters is expensive. Like, though they discount each other, they are expensive. The good thing is that the deck does you something that is probably a bit overlooked at the moment. It gives you extremely relevant information when you look at opponent's top deck. Like, that's super relevant. And if you're versing against, if you're playing against blue, if you're playing against yellow that isn't Golden Frieza, but the idea is, if you can fight a deck that doesn't draw like 3 cards a turn, and there's still decks that don't have, blue is one of the colors that doesn't have this sort of draw power inherently.
Yeah, well, if you look at older green decks in general, because you're usually milling, so you don't really draw that much.
Yeah, so basically you can troll and block your opponent very well if you verse in a good matchup. For example, we're gonna talk at the very end about Cell Max, but Cell Max draws 2 cards on his turn and then he draws a card on opponent's turn. But here you're like, yeah, you can't necessarily stop him because he's still gonna draw 3 in a turn cycle.
But I'm gonna make sure you never draw a counter.
Yeah. You're just gonna, oh, okay, I'm gonna take your best card for the very last, and then I'm just gonna slap you. So, plus there is the promo Baba. That's even better, the one that puts the card on the very bottom of the deck.
Yes, I saw that. That actually looks very neat with it as well, and it being a low cost.
Yeah, it's a 1-drop, I think, or something.
Yeah.
So I think this one is good. Like, I think it's better than okay. I think that it's better than okay. It's a bit tricky.
I would say it goes locals good, but it would have to go towards probably the back for now. Because I think it will be underestimated for sure. Just like what we had with the previous Cell, right? Like BT21 Cell.
Yeah.
When we first looked at it, everyone was like, oh, this looks very interesting. Then suddenly we saw the like Bible book of erratas. And then everyone was like, nah, this is a meme. It's not great. But then there were still people, and shout outs to them, who were like topping 6, top 12, top 16 with the deck. So there is still definitely playability in the deck. And I would say that Bubba will fill that kind of category, where it will be a bit of a sleeper in a way. Like, you'll see it pop up.
I'm 100% certain that in the next competitive season we will see at least 1 or 2 Babas in the top 16 somewhere. We're gonna see it at some point.
I really want to verse it too.
So, okay, I put it in locals, and now it's Gogeta.
Yes, the one I'm most excited for. This and the next are the ones that I'm so hyped for. So I've been an avid blue player since day one, and especially when it comes blue-yellow, Aspira TV, he made a long time ago a Soul Striker with blue-yellow in it, and I was so actually inspired by that I decided to make my own version, and then I took that to locals. I top with it. It's such a good deck. It was a lot of fun. It was very gimmicky in some ways, because there were times where you just had a bunch of dead cards in hand. You couldn't combo with anything. But it was fun. And this looks like it's filling that niche. It's a Soul Striker on steroids. So I'm very excited for this deck.
I don't have much to say about this. I think I just recently did a how to play, and I'm gonna say what I said there. I think this is the meta deck. I think this is the deck to beat. Yeah, it has a weakness in combo power, but people are already building around it. So I think that the very earliest builds were like, hey, combo power is not the best, but I think that we're gonna see the problem resolved fairly quickly.
Yeah.
He has a poor matchup into yellow, which is okay, because there has to be something to stop him. Otherwise, it's the best deck in the game, and let's just play it. And he has an inherent you're on 3 lives and it is turn 5 I win button.
Yeah, I watched your video. It was a great video, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think that's crazy. I think if you're on 3 and he swings and you don't have counters and he gets to plus 50k, I mean, he gets to 50k triple for free without even dumping his hand, you just lost on the spot. You just lost. So
it's pretty mad. The deck as well. So The archetype is very heavy itself, so space is very limited, I noticed. But there are so many different ways. Like I've got on my side deck here, I've got 36 cards that I've put on for my list. Things from
Wow.
like because people forget this too. Since it is yellow, you can technically run like the Golden Frieza Goku card where you pay 2 energies, you choose your leader. You've got Oob, the 8 cost. You've got Beast Gohan, the power reclaimed, that 8 cost Gohan that's like a
Mm-hmm.
triple attack.
Yeah.
You've got another World Blitz because don't forget, you're putting your battle cards from your drop to your warp, so you could clear your whole drop from battle cards and play Blitz. So there's
Yeah.
so
This
many things you
is
can do.
this one is just insane. Like this one is wow. And before we put it in the meta, I just want to say we haven't seen OG Gogeta since at 5.
Yeah,
And
it's been a long time.
I don't care what anyone says about like is it healthy for the game or not. From my perspective, I'm super happy that it's crazy. It's been like what 17 sets in multiple products without an OG
Yeah,
Gogeta. They've tried to cheat him into Pike 1. It didn't work. So yeah, it's awesome to see it back. So Gogeta is our meta deck, right against his arch rival Janemba in the
yeah. I honestly think the deck is going to be amazing, and yes, it deserves to go to meta for sure.
Mm,
I'm really excited to make some deck profiles on this for sure. It's going to be definitely something coming up soon before I leave. It is something that I think will be very annoying for a lot of players because I think if you remember when it comes to blue decks, every time we have a meta blue deck, there's always a huge complaint from like the community itself
yeah, yeah,
because blue is very power crept in a way.
yeah.
And this deck, I think they did a pretty good job though with how much they filled into the deck. That way you can't just add everything and anything. But it's still it looks good. But I think the next one as well is gonna be actually pretty good. The SS Broly. I'm very excited for this deck. Obviously, I don't think it's gonna be Gohan. But as a deck that's running multicolor, it's got a lot of free combo. It's got a lot of energy exhaust that's not there, which is just amazing. I think the deck is actually going to be really, really good.
Mm, I I have zero faith in this one, man. Like I
Why
don't
is
think
that?
that, like I think that its archetype is a bit. It's interesting. Let's call it like that. It's not the hardest one to fight against. Especially like if you just don't touch the 6 drop, it just slows down like crazy. And like I've never played these OG Broly cards at all, so my perspective is from someone who just kind of quickly skimmed through the cards, but like okay, like this is cool, this isn't. But I just don't see it. I think that like the 6 drop 30k crit is okay. I think that I mean it's a guaranteed crit. I think that the ability for you to stop your opponent from interacting with your swings on battle cards is phenomenal. It's absurdly powerful. The boss monsters, which just burn your opponent in a completely uninteractive way, is wow. But I don't feel like I feel like you want to do. You're looking to do a lot, and you're getting your payoffs from it. But I feel like you're doing this at such a slow pace, because like you need
I
to.
I agree with
Mm,
that.
yeah, I'm thinking also in a way that when I feel like it's a bit clunky. So just I feel I feel like it's easy to stop very early because you get your first field card out, and then you swing with your leader. It dies. You play your big 6 cost Broly. It gains crit. It swings. It crits alive. Whatever, right? And
Yeah.
now you need this Broly to die so that you can bring the Dormant Legend out. But if I'm your opponent and I'm not touching the Broly, I'm like, sure, he's 30k single. Fine. Then you need to, on your turn, commit your leader swing to kill the Broly to get Dormant Legend out. But you would use this swing normally to get rid of Dormant Legend so that you can get the 4-drop out.
Yeah,
And now you
see,
have nothing.
that's very right. But there is one thing that is crazy that is coming out of the whole green in general, and I think it is, in my opinion, I think it is the best card that is coming from green. And it is the Unison, sorry, the Z Battle card.
Oh yeah. Oh.
That Super Saiyan 3 Broly, that is nuts. That card is, it's crazy. I literally bought now Cell Max because of that card. And I got a mad deal on it, and thanks to that guy, shout out. But it's so crazy good. You pretty much can make it a 1-cost 1Z energy, 25k double strike barrier. And you can choose one of your cards to KO it to make it that bit cheaper. So you could just choose your Cell Max and then make them crit life. I have a updated profile for Teen Gohan coming up where I have that in there, and they'll be coming on the channel sometime soon as well. And I have that combination in there because it's that good.
But you I'm
super excited.
You also have something crazy with that card. I agree with you. That card is probably, I'm not gonna call it the best card in this set, but it's up there.
Yeah, I would say top 3 for sure.
Because of one very, very specific thing. It's generic, it's green, and it costs 2Z energy. So
2Z energy
is online. In any deck you can play Cooler now.
Yep.
So
that's right. Good. And don't forget, there's even that old, I believe it works with that too, the Android 18 Kid Goku from GT. That card, I think, required as well you having a Z Battle card, didn't it?
I think so. I haven't checked. I bought that deck recently because it was just pennies, but I didn't check. So I think
you actually built that?
Yeah, I was just like, I was going through Card Market and I was like, okay, I'm buying from this seller. What else does he have? And the entire engine was like 2 cents a card, 5 cents a card.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can get everything for like 50 cents. I might as well just take it. So yeah.
Yeah. I did the same with BT21 Cell.
I also got the BT21 Cell from it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I would say, my opinion, just because I'm stubborn for it, I think this deck is going to be very good. I'm not sure if it's going to be competitive because of the Gohan that we have. So I would say good locals, but at the top of good locals.
Okay, so at the very top of the good locals. Wait 1 second. Okay, yeah.
Now we've got the last two. We've got the starter deck Vegito. What are your thoughts?
Oh man, so I just did also how to play on this one. Embarrassingly forgot about Super Combo, how it works. Because like West Dragon Ball players, we don't read most of the time, It draws 2.
Exactly.
That's so, but the reason why and how is because I don't think that this one has enough in black for fusion pieces for it to just stand on its own. I still need to see that. So I was thinking like maybe how good is it just mono black, right? And
yeah,
which Gokus and Vegetas you have? So you have playsets, all the ones from the deck. You have 4 copies of the Cumber SR Goku, the Berserker Instincts, because that one is just Goku.
Yep.
But then where is the Vegeta? Where is the other Vegeta then?
Yeah, the Vegeta is the super combo, right? From the recent set.
There is a super combo Vegeta from the recent set. But then you're playing... I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is. It's a 10k Vegeta.
But then again, are you gonna play your super combo on the board so that you can use Union Potara? Like, it lags that one Vegeta. It just lags literally any Vegeta. So that just kind of ups it for me. So I think that like maybe going with like blue and a different super combo choice, so then you get like more options and stuff. It has some cool tricks. It has some very very cool tricks. You can play. There is a promo Black Goku, SSG Goku. It came out with the Black promo Shenron Unison, and he has the ability to, for one energy, put 5 Saiyans under him, and then he gains something.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about. Yep.
And then you Union Potara into your 8-drop Vegito, the one which has double strike, which has the ability that if you remove cards from under him, 2 cards, he restands. But now suddenly you have 6 cards under him, because your Goku has 5.
Yeah.
And he gets plus 10k.
That's a good little trick, for sure.
Yeah. Like it has
but I feel like that's it, really.
Yeah.
Because they made a promo, right? A new Vegito promo. Didn't they? It was like a 1-cost double strike something. Because
that one is in the set.
Yeah, because I believe there's what, like 3 different Vegitos you can play total.
Yeah.
There's Vegito Ultimate Battle, All Around Warrior, and Beyond Shining. And so one is a deflect 20k, one is a deflect double strike 20k, and the other is a 20k blocker deflect. So there are options for sure, which is good. But I think what you said about the whole it's missing a Vegeta, I think you're completely right, and I think that is a big problem for it. That's where you have to run other colors.
I think it's, in general, I don't think that it's too bad. Like, he draws 2. Every leader that draws 2 is okay. Like, that's what you want to do. It has a good Z extra card that can win you the game. It has the combo with the blue Vegito where you can draw 3 cards for 1 energy. That's amazing. But like, other than that, I must say I feel like it's missing. First the Vegeta, and then I still feel like it's missing something here to be. I think that SSG Trunks is much better. I think that Fu is much better. I think that at this point even Cumber is much better than this. Like, it's...
I think Vegito, if we're going to place it somewhere, I would probably put it at just ahead of probably Beast Gohan. Because it still has some very generic good cards, and of course when it comes to counters, like I said before, Black is not the best for counters right now, but their damage is very good, and I think in general the deck has a lot of space. Of course you can always cut down the amount of Vegitos you want, but if you wanted to run every Vegito and then put as much Gokus and Vegetas in there, you can do that. But if you wanted to just focus on 2 different kinds of Vegitos, then it would leave you with a lot more space to be able to put in like your Berserks, the 19k dual attacker Cumbers, and things like that. So you can pump out damage in the deck. So with that being said, I would probably say it would go ahead of Beast Gohan.
And now we only have Cellmax left.
That's right.
I'm gonna let you go first on Cellmax.
So I think you already nailed it a bit before, where you explained that it can draw quite a lot of cards in general. I think the Omnidirectional Beam is a crazy good card. I think that's going to be amazing, and also Cooler Mill itself. I'm excited to get my hands on that card. I think the deck looks pretty good. Obviously, the 8 drops, I think they're a bit lackluster. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think they look kind of shit. But the amount of space for the deck where you can just throw in whatever you want for that can minus your opponent, I think that's what was so good about it. And to be fair, I was kind of hoping when I saw this leader as a promo that they might have done a cool little twist and made the card sideways for a leader. I think that would have been a dope thing to do.
Definitely, I think that it would be dope, because like he's huge, he's Cellmax.
Exactly.
I think that this one is... first off, I think that it's overlooked a lot because it's not an archetype leader, he has only like 3 cards for...
Yeah.
I think this one is phenomenal. I think that this one is just insane. I think that this is the generic red leader, basically. He doesn't restand energy because restanding energy is very scary in red right now.
Yeah, for sure.
But he draws so much. He draws like crazy. And like you pointed out, if you don't want to, you don't even need to play the 8 cost cells. I mean, you can, you don't need to. I personally think that both of them are bad. I think that the one that came in the set is just awful. The promo
it's
one
pretty
is,
though.
It's
My
pretty.
god, the artwork is pretty, but the card's pretty shit.
Yeah. The promo one is okay, you know, but like I wouldn't touch them. You have Magenta, the boss, who gives him double strike. You also have the boss who prevents who's a counter for free.
Yeah,
that's awesome. You can build it in multiple ways. If you just want to build it in a way that you neg your opponent's field, you can just build it as Cooler Mill. You can go red blue. Just get rid of barrier things with him. He has a lot of things, and his true boss monster, his actual boss monster in this game, is very scary. And I'm saying this because, in my opinion, his true boss monster is the Jiren Unison. Because when you put Jiren Unison in this,
oh, of course, the -10 to your opponent
the
every
minus
turn.
10. So on top of getting 20k double strike, remove something, now he draws like crazy.
Yeah,
it's huge.
I think so, but there is just a downside with the direction they've gone with green. Have you noticed, at least in the past 2 sets now, they've really picked up on unison, like removal or minusing unisons for green?
Yeah.
So I feel like because green's in such a good spot right now, that might hinder the Jiren itself a bit.
I think that it might. I think you can still build without Jiren. You can just like side it
For
or
sure.
something.
Yeah, for sure.
But-
I agree with that. I think the deck in general, the amount of minusing you can do, I like the idea of, for me, if I build this, I would definitely go with, the blue-red combo and just go with some of the Cooler Mill package.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think it's going to be good. I would say, I'm not sure where you would place it. I'd love to hear it. I think personally it would go into the back of competitive.
I was just about to say it's at least competitive.
Yeah.
This deck is, you'll see, guys. Once you start playing against this deck, and nothing ever survives on the field, and he has a small novel in his hand,
And always remember as well, a lot of these decks at the moment that we all play, they're very archetype heavy, so your space is limited trying to figure out what you're going to run. And the amount of power crept things that are in the game now that are just generic cards you can put into every deck, that's what's going to make this deck so good, is that you're not limited on your space. You can flush it out with whatever you want, and you can hone that in the more and more you play it and figure out exactly, well, I don't need this as much, this can minus more, so I'll go with this. I would say it's pretty accurate. I think Janemba being the best deck in the game, and then we go to Gogeta being the second best. What do you think about it?
I think I think that everything, that all placings here are fine. Like Janemba is obviously the best deck in the game, so
yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, so I agree. I definitely agree with these placings.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Demian, for joining me. It's been a lot of fun. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys. This has been Demian from The Lookout.
And this is Slash here, reminding you, if you like the video, like it. If you don't, you don't. Subscribe if you haven't already. It greatly helps me a lot. And don't forget to check out The Lookout as well. And thanks for watching. Peace.
See ya.